Hello students, this is teacher Benard from Trinity College Nabingo. I've come here to teach you using materials. This was our last topic before we went for the COVID holiday. What are materials? Materials are substances we use to make objects used in daily life. For example, we use cotton as a material for making clothes. We use plastic as a material for making plates and cups. We use ceramic as a material for making again plates and cups, etc. So in activity 1, what you need is a smartphone laptop or a laptop, but with internet access. And you will also need all materials in your environment. And what you will do, you identify all the objects used in your home environment and identify the materials used for making them. The objects may be part of those used in constructing buildings, used for cooking, used for dining, used for making toys for kids to play, etc. So, and then you also do number 2, ensure that you do this activity for identifying the materials and the objects they are used for making. The supporting materials help you think through this topic, and to do it successfully are here. So, what are properties of materials in relation to their uses? It is very important that we know the objects that we use in daily life, and then also the materials that we can use to make these particular objects. For example, it is very important to know that we use a spoon. Yes, but a spoon can be made of a plastic, and a spoon can also be made of a metal or iron. So it is very important, and in activity 2, we shall need objects we use in daily life or in our environment. And what to do for each of the materials we mentioned in activity 1. We shall state the properties of the material that make it suitable for use in making the object it is used to make. So use also the internet to help you exhaust the properties of all the materials in relation to their uses. It is very important also to know how to classify these materials. Materials used in daily life can be classified according to the following categories: natural and artificial materials, metallic and non-metallic materials. Metallic materials normally include those ones that are metallic. I think you know metals, like iron bars, all those ones are metals or metallic. And the non-metallic ones normally include the plastic, the plastic plates and cups, and the fiber is used for making clothes, and then the ceramics. Ceramics are used for making plates, cups, etc. And then materials can also be classified as solids, liquids, or gases. Now, it is very important to know the classification, and therefore in activity 3, we shall be classifying the items according to their whether they are natural or artificial. What you need is a smartphone or a laptop with internet access and all the materials in your environment. And this is what you are going to do. Classify the materials stated in activity 1. We have already talked about activity 1 as whether they are natural or artificial, metallic or non-metallic. Non-metallic, I want you to remember that we are talking about plastic, fiber, or ceramics. And as to whether the materials are solids, liquids, or gases. Now, here I have a question for you. Why do you think it is important to classify materials into different categories? Think about it and then write down the answer. Now, most of the materials we use can be categorized as polymers. Not all of them are polymers, but most of them are polymers. And the word polymer comes from 2 Greek words. poly meaning many and ma meaning molecule. Mas meaning molecules. Thus, polymers are larger molecules formed by combining many small molecules. In other words, think of a polymer as of a very large molecule, but formed by combining many other small molecules. In other words, we build many small molecules together, we combine them, and then we get a larger molecule called a polymer. So polymers form non-metallic materials like plastics and fibers. Therefore, they are important as materials in making many objects used in daily life. We have seen that plastics and fibers are some of the materials we use for making objects in daily life. So, continuing the polymers, examples of polymers used as materials and the objects in daily life they form. For example, I can give you an example. Cotton is a polymer and is used for making clothes. Another example is nylon is also a man-made polymer used for making clothes. Another polymer I can talk about, a natural polymer is rubber that is used for making car tires. So in activity 4, what you need is a smartphone again, or a laptop with internet access, and all non-metallic materials in your environment. So, this is what you need to do. You identify all the non-metallic objects in your environment, state the polymers, and you will state the polymers used for making each of these materials. Use the internet to surf the polymers used for making each of the objects. And then you also use the internet to surf all the non-metallic objects that may not be in your environment and the polymers used for making them. The support materials are here to help you think about what you are supposed to do. How can we classify polymers? Polymers can generally be classified into plastics and fibers. But after knowing that this polymer is a plastic or a fiber, again you need to know whether it is a natural or an artificial polymer. Plastics are generally polymers which, when heated, they easily melt and can be molded into a desired shape. So, after knowing that definition of plastics, you should be able to tell now that this one is a plastic, this one is a plastic, and therefore you will do for me activity 5. Fibers are polymers that can be made into threads. And after knowing that fibers can be made into polymers that can be made into threads, for example, cotton can be made into threads, and then you use it for making clothes. You will do for me activity number 6 about fibers, and then you also do for me activity number 7 about classifying polymers as to whether they are plastics or fibers. We are continuing with classification of polymers. Plastics and fibers can be classified into natural and artificial. So in activity 8, I want you to classify for me the plastics stated in activity 5 as to whether they are natural or artificial plastics. And then you also do for me activity 9 about classifying fibers as to whether they are natural or artificial. However, plastics can also be classified into thermosetting plastics and thermosoftening plastics or thermoplastics. Thermosetting plastics are also called thermosets. Thermosoftening plastics are also called thermoplastics. Thermosetting plastics or thermosets, they harden on heating. When you heat them, they just harden, and when they are overheated, they burn or decompose. For example, look at a melamine plate. When you heat it, it will harden and it maybe crack even. When you insist on heating it, it will start burning. It will start becoming black. That's a melamine plate or cup. So that means that it's a thermosetting plastic or a thermoset. There are also there are also plastics we call thermosoftening plastics or thermoplastics. These ones, they soften on heating and can be molded and remolded into new shapes. So, for example, plastic, these normal plastic cups or plates, when you heat them, they melt. For example, jerry can, when you heat it, it will melt, and then you can make it into any shape you wish. That's the distinction between those two. So in activity 10, you will classify for me the plastics stated in activity 5 as to whether they are thermosetting or thermosoftening plastics. You will surf also the internet for more examples of thermosetting plastics not included in the ones stated in the activity 10, number 1. Use these supporting materials to help you think about what to do. In the exercise, you also do for me this exercise. You write for me an essay titled, Man Cannot Do Without Polymers. And in your essay, you should make clear what polymers are, the types of polymers, and the materials in daily life they are used to make. Materials used for constructing houses. It is very important to know them. So in activity 11, you do it for me about the materials we use for constructing houses. One of the materials we use for constructing houses are the bricks. It is very important to know how to make bricks. It is a very important and profitable business these days. It can help you in your vacation somewhere and you earn money. So it is very important to know how to make them. So you are going to surf the internet or consult a local construction engineer on how to make bricks. Then you will use the procedure to make at least 10 bricks. Present and send a short present by sending short videos and pictures of yourself while doing the activity to your chemistry teacher for evaluation. You know your teacher who teaches you chemistry. You must be in touch with your teacher, and then you send them for evaluation the pictures of yourself doing the activity. And then I have a question here for you. What makes bricks a suitable and common material for constructing houses? You must give at least 5 reasons. Then making concrete is also very important because these days in your vacation still you can get somewhere a job, a part-time job of construction, and then you must be able to know how to make concrete. So you will surf the internet or consult a local construction engineer on how to make concrete. Use the procedure to make concrete and then present short videos and pictures of yourself while doing the activity to your chemistry teacher for evaluation. Then I have a question here which you must also answer. What makes concrete a suitable material in construction? Give at least 6 reasons. Well explained. Then some materials, when they are not disposed of from the environment, they can cause environmental pollution. For example, polyethylene bags. Polyethylene, when it exists in the environment, it can cause soil infertility. It reduces the ability of water to enter into the soil, and therefore it reduces soil fertility, and then they dirten the environment, they cause inconvenience in the environment, and therefore we need to know how to dispose of the materials from the environment. So, but the method of disposing of the material will depend on whether we can be able to recycle this material or we cannot be able to recycle it. So you need to know which materials are recyclable and then which materials are not recyclable. And after knowing which material is recyclable and which material is not recyclable, how do we get rid of them from the environment so that they don't pollute the environment? So you are going to do for me activity 14 for waste material disposal, and then you also answer for me this question: why is it important to dispose of some materials like polyethylene and other plastics from the environment? So ensure that you do that activity and the question. so that you know how to dispose of materials and why is it important to dispose of materials, and how do we dispose of recyclable and non-recyclable materials. So in the next video we shall talk about the activity of integration, and we shall give you the activity of integration to do. However, we shall give you time to do the activities that are in this video, and then after doing these activities, writing your own notes and then making the research, we shall give you the activity of integration and we shall see how to evaluate it, and we shall be making any necessary communications. Thanks for being good students. I remain teacher Ssegujja Benard. That is my email and that's my WhatsApp number. So in touch, you want to be in touch with me. In case you want to be in touch with me, that is my info. And for more resources, please visit the links you see below. Thank you for watching and being good students. See you in the next video.